So a lot of people are always talking about which is the best weapon to use in whatever FPS game. Battlefield 3, you had like the whole competition between the M16A3 and the AK971. Battlefield 4, it was the ACE-23 and the M416. In 2042, it is the M5A3 and the AK24. We're going to try to take care of that discussion today. I'm here on the NOAM's aim trainer that he's done up to kind of give you guys a little bit of a damage number, because there's actually some damage numbers that actually pops up whenever you shoot someone on this. So you can actually get a sense about the damage numbers for any weapon that you're going to test out. So we're at about 15 meters here. M5A3, about 22 body shot, and about 44 to a headshot. Now the thing about weapons is, you're going to want to pay attention to where the damage drop-off is. Now, the M5, it's about 50 meters. Notice we're only going to get 18 to a body shot. If I can get the headshot, it goes down to 36. So the M5A3 is more of a mid to close range weapon. Mainly because it has a fast rate of fire. This weapon, I believe, has a rate of fire of about 800, I think, 850, something like that. With everything stock. This is stock barrel and stock ammunition, which these two are going to be the most things you need to watch out for, because each one can have a effect on your rate of fire, damage drop off, projectile velocity, and in some cases even your damage. But we're just running stock here so we can kind of get some basic numbers. So about 15 meters up until about 50 meters, you're going to have about 22 to the body, about 34 or 36 to the head, until you get on to 50 out, which you're going to see that damage drop off. So if we take a look.
Marking danger. Cancel that.
Yeah, we're about 60 meters out. Yeah. Oh, we got 36 there. You might have been a little closer. Let's go all the way back. 76.
90 degrees. About 70 meters from
yeah.
my position.
Drops down pretty quickly. And it keeps going down by 1, but about 50 or so meters, you're going to see that damage drop off of the M5. With the AK24, it's a slightly slower rate of fire. I think this is about maybe 650 to 700. Everything's stuck on this except I have an ACOM, because the iron sights on this thing isn't that great. It's kind of hard to see, but we'll pull that out when we get to the longer ranges. So this does 22 and 44 to the head at closer range. So you're actually getting a slightly more headshot damage than the M5. To where you can sometimes too, damage in 2042 is not that great. Act like staying competitive. I think there has been the bug where you kind of get like that magic bullet, essentially. But yeah, you get 44 to the head and about 22 to the body. Well, the thing about the AK is, because it's a slower rate of fire and it has a bigger round, being 7.62 Russian ammunition, you can take this. We don't start getting that damage drop off until about maybe 75, maybe about 80 meters. So you can actually hit this thing for a pretty long ways away. So we can change all this with weapon attachments, but I think we're going to be looking at the more optimum setups here. I'm going to give you guys basically the two class setups, what I would think would work for this weapon, just to make this a heck of a lot easier to use. And can kind of improve the weapon. So let's go with the AK. We do have the option to put on high power. But the thing about the high power ammunition, and the one thing I don't like, is not only if you look at our ammunition count, it goes down 10 rounds. We had 30 plus 1 in the chamber. Now we're down to 20 plus 1 in the chamber. But we do have the added benefit of going plus 100.
Danger located. 90 degrees. About 60 meters from my position.
There's that 44 headshot, and we're at 80, almost 90 meters out. So while we do have the effective range, The ammunition count is enough to turn me away because I think we're going to have to utilize the drum magazine. You have 51 rounds, 50 plus 1 in the chamber. And the way Battlefield 2042 is, the hit rate is not good. I'm not going to be engaging people from 90 plus meters out unless it's dire. You can tap fire all you want, but half the time, those shots aren't even going to register. And if we look at the recoil, let's go over here and look at the recoil for the AK. The AK recoil is kind of horrendous, which is why I'm always going to be running a grip with this thing. I'm going to show you guys, we're about, let's go 15 meters to this wall. I'm not going to control the recoil. While it is straight up and slightly to the right, it is pretty good amount of recoil. So while you can't control it, I'm going to be running a grip on this thing. And I think the best grip for this, and I think for any of the weapons, and I'll show you guys real quick. With the way the TTK is, you don't want to be standing around giving people free targets. I'm always going to be running a grip that's going to give me more accuracy while moving. Because you're going to be running and gunning, you're going to be staying out of those areas. And in reality, it's just, you're just going to be trying to become a harder target for people. But I think for this setup, I would actually be wanting to have a tactical compensator for weapon accuracy, the drum mag, the LWG grip, which gives you more accuracy while moving. And if you kind of want to, you can run either the Fusion Holo or the TV ×2. The TV ×2, I have found out, is a good scope to have for medium to long range engagements. And it is an ACOG essentially, and it does take a bit of your screen. But honestly, it doesn't take up that much. It really doesn't take up that much. But let's go back over here. Now that you kind of see what I'm using for like a class setup for the AK24. I'm going to go over here. And while yes, we do have a penalty, we don't have that static here. I think it'll be... It just doesn't kick up as much. You can tell, like, I think that has more to do with the barrel for weapon accuracy. But it still feels really nice. So this is what I would run for the AK24. Now for the M5A3, it's a different story. We know that this weapon rate of fire is pretty good. It has about, if it'll even show, I don't think it'll show until we get to the barrels. So it has about a 750 to 800. We can actually boost this thing to 860 by utilizing the shorter barrel. I don't really like particularly using this one for long range, so you can kind of get away with running a shorter barrel and having a much more rate of fire increase. And for that, I'm also as well going to be utilizing the LWG grip to have more accuracy while on the move. Now for the barrel, like for the magazines, it is a bit tricky because there's two magazines that you definitely want. You can use the standard issue extended to give us 40 plus 1 in the chamber, or we can use the close combat 9mm magazine. Now, this essentially gives you better recoil control, reload speed, and rate of fire. But we also boost our rate of fire with the shortened barrel to about 970 with both of these attachments. That's pretty good. And if you do have to come across some of those engagements to where you are long range, the recoil itself, because there's just no recoil. So yeah, in reality, guys, I honestly don't really see the point of using, because for me, the low recoil on the M5A3 is just so much better than the AK. And personally, I do see what people talk about with the AK, but if I wanted to use this, if I end up in a situation where I'm running this setup, and I do have to come across some long-range targets, look at the tap fire accuracy. And even full auto. I have a better time keeping my shots on target with the M5A3 than I do with the AK. Mainly because of the little recoil. So yeah. This is what I run on the M5A3. I basically run the shorter barrel with the 9mm rounds, and then I'll use the LWG grip for more accuracy while on the move, and then I'll run like the Fusion HOLO or some sort of red dot sight because I can still see the targets. And sometimes I'll run this with a 2x if I'm just feeling kind of daring. But yeah. But in reality, guys, use whatever you feel comfortable with. If you guys want to see more videos like this where we're comparing weapons and what I think about each weapon, let me know. But if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, comment, and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. And until next time, guys, have a good one. I'll see you later.